Hello there, dear viewer. Today we're going to be looking at some films released by BFI on Blu-ray recently, because I had a great response to my last video that I did covering some BFI titles. Many people messaged me saying we want to hear more about this label and what they're releasing. So I have 4 more films to talk about and recommend to you today. Let's just get straight into things. The first one of these is a film that I have wanted on Blu-ray for a very long time. It is The Music Lovers from Ken Russell. Ken Russell, a filmmaker who I very strongly admire. Throughout his career, he was experimental. He took many risks and chances, and he was a bold figure in cinema who is sorely missed. But thankfully, he has quite a large filmography of films to enjoy, and The Music Lovers is a real highlight. The Music Lovers is about the life of Tchaikovsky, the very famous musical composer who created so much wonderful music that still is played around the world today. Tchaikovsky was gay, but he was not openly out about his sexuality. So this led to a real repression of his own sexuality, which caused a lot of issues with the people that he had relationships with in his life. In this film, we see the failure of some of these relationships and the explosive nature at times. This is all mapped to his career in music and, the wonderful music he was creating. I love the performances from Richard Chamberlain and Glenda Jackson, who worked with Russell a number of times. Richard Chamberlain is a gay man himself, but he was not openly out about this at the time of making this film. So there is this metatextual thing going on with the actor and the character he's playing here. As with all of the releases from BFI, you get some great special features here, including a new audio commentary. There is an interview with Ken Russell's son here, who talks about his own involvement in the films of his father. And there is even more in the special features, as you can see here. So definitely want to go and check out if you are either a fan of Ken Russell already, or if you love the music of Tchaikovsky. Next, I want to talk about A Dry White Season, the film directed by Yuzan Palsi, which is finally getting a Blu-ray release here in the UK. I know it had a Blu-ray from Criterion in the US some years ago, which I never managed to pick up. So having it now on Blu-ray is fantastic, because this film, I don't want to use the word underrated, because I don't know if that's the appropriate word, but certainly underseen. This film needs to be seen by more people. This is a drama set in South Africa during apartheid, and we follow this white family who are oblivious to what is going on to black people at the time, until the son of their gardener is brutally beaten and killed by the police, and this kind of jolts Donald Sutherland's character into action to really help fight this injustice. It's a film that remains relevant to today, with some fantastic performances. One in particular I want to point out is actually Marlon Brando. He gives such a great performance in here. I think he was actually nominated for the Academy Award at the time. So fantastic performances across the board, and the late Donald Sutherland is brilliant as well. There are some brilliant special features on here. There is an intro and Q&A with Yuzan Palsi, which was very enlightening, and she really did such great work getting this film made, and I'm so thankful that we have the end result here. So please do seek this one out, whether you get this release or you seek it out by some other means. It's a fantastic film, and I'm so glad to have it. Then we come to Chocolat, the film from Claire Denis, which was her directorial debut from 1988. It has undergone a 4K restoration, and it looks great on this Blu-ray, and it's just superb to have it in my collection, quite frankly, because I'm a huge admirer of Claire Denis, and I just think her work is just so powerful, and this one is no different. You see the things that she would go on to explore in her films after this. And she was no stranger to filmmaking, even when she made her first film, because she had worked as an assistant director with so many great filmmakers, and it really shows. It's described as a semi-autobiographical story. We follow this woman who goes to Cameroon to reminisce and rediscover things about her childhood, particularly her relationship that she had as a small girl with the houseboy who lived with the family at the time. This is, of course, in a part of Africa that had colonial roots with France, and this is all explored within the film. And it's obviously a very complicated situation. And interestingly, I've actually been watching a few films that have been looking at the French colonial history within Africa, namely the revolutionary films from Ousmane Sembène. It's a remarkable film, beautiful to watch, some great location shooting as well. So an all-round brilliant film experience. And on the special features, Claire Denis is involved talking about the film, recollecting her time making it. So another fantastic Blu-ray to get from BFI. Then we come to one of the real surprises out of the selection, the film Heavenly Pursuit, which was one that I hadn't even heard about before BFI announced it. But I'm so glad that they did, because I have now found a new film which I have such a fond admiration for. The film is set in this Glaswegian religious school as we follow these teachers who are dealing with this situation where it's believed that miracles are happening at the school. But the timing of this raises questions because the school is also seeking to have their namesake canonized as, a saintly figure. So we see Tom Conti's character questioning this, but then also experiencing things by himself, which is causing him to question his own beliefs. And that's all I'll say, but it's a great film. Had such a great time with this. And Tom Conti, many people will know from Oppenheimer last year. He played Albert Einstein in that film. So great to go back and watch one of his earlier performances, and to see Helen Mirren in a role where this is before she is the Helen Mirren that we know today. And BFI mentioned Bill Forsyth on the back of their case, which is valid because the film does really feel like it has that Bill Forsyth spirit to it. As always, there are some very interesting special features. There's an interview with Tom Conti reflecting on the role, and there is a selection of these short films which are looking at the history of X-ray photography, which is just a great inclusion, and I had such a great time with this disc, so strongly recommended from me. That was just a quick look at these 4 titles from BFI. I'll include some purchasing links if you want to pick up some of these to perhaps add to your own collection. But BFI just consistently have such a high level of quality. Their output is always interesting, and it leads me to discover some, quite frankly, brilliant films that I probably wouldn't have found out about otherwise. If you'd like some more film and Blu-ray recommendations from me, just click the video that's presented on screen right now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.